That's the capital required. The risk on this investment, very high. You know, this could completely work on paper, and once you build the first solar panel, not work at all. And then you've lost all your money. But once you have that proof of concept, there's a big jump in risk. I mean, you've seen the product, you've seen that it works, so now there's much lower risk. But the other side of that equation is you need more capital. Because now we need money to start building the product in series. We need money to start going out to customers and telling them, look, we have a solar panel that works better than your existing solar panel. Would you be interested, etc., etc. And you need people for that, and you need to travel for that. So there's more capital required, and so on and so forth. After you prove concept and you start generating revenue, again, the risk is lower. You start generating revenues means that customers are accepting your product, so you have less risk. But now you have more capital requirements because you want to start growing the company. So you go out and you put more money into that, and then there's scaling. I mean, you put money for a factory of a product that's been proven, it's been selling for 2 years, everybody wants it, so you want to hurry up and build that factory to cover your market, to satisfy demand. There's much lower risk because the product is being proven, people want it, people are asking for it, but you have to build a factory, an entire factory, not just for today's demand, but for the demand in the next 10 years. Okay? So, as you see, I drew a rectangle there, which covers between proof of concept and past revenues. And that's what I call a sweet spot. Why is it a sweet spot? Because it's where the capital requirements are not that huge that you have to pay for an entire factory, and the risk is less than what just the idea and the scientist was, but certainly is more than what a factory to build a factory is. Of course, to build a factory you require millions and millions of dollars, and that's why the sweet spot is more towards between the proof of concept and the revenue. Am I making sense? Everybody is with me? Or you're already thinking about the weekend? Okay, so this is the perfect storm. This is what I call the perfect storm. Why is this the perfect storm? I've given you a couple of concepts, and I'm going to go back to those two concepts. And the perfect storm basically is made up of two big trends. The first trend is early stage. You invest in early stage companies, and you have a lot of growth potential. If you look at the table, this is statistical data from 10 and 20 years. There is no competition of investing in any other thing than early stage investing. I mean, 10 years, it's 32% versus if you would put money in gold, it's 14%. Inflation certainly, 2.31. Real estate, here in Florida especially, 2.03. Dow Jones, it was negative by the end of 2009, which is where the data is coming from. The S&P and the NASDAQ are also negative numbers. So you may be thinking, wow, I mean, where has this been hiding? I mean, why haven't I seen this? And well, I mean, this kind of investments are what makes a country. It's what generates the wealth of a country or the wealth of individuals. I mean, these early stage investments are what create growth. And just to compare, for example, I put a graph of the S&P 500. If you invest in companies in the S&P 500, basically you're playing towards the statistics, meaning you may win more than the index or less than the index. I mean, the probabilities are 50-50. And as you've seen, the index is not moving very far. So your work is to find stocks in the S&P 500 that earn more than the average. And your probabilities are 50-50. Whereas if you invest in early stage companies, you are investing perhaps with a higher risk, but the opportunities of return are much higher. And just to add to that example, the wealthiest people in the world are people that started with basically a garage company like Bill Gates. and ended up with billions of dollars. Why? Because they profited from the growth of their early stage companies. I mean, same case with the owner of IKEA, the founder of Oracle. These are people that all benefited from the growth of a company that started with an idea and ended up with scales of billions of dollars. The other piece in this puzzle is what I call the green tech megatrend. Why is there a green tech megatrend? Well, 2 weeks ago there was the State of the Union, and whereas you are a Democrat or a Republican or whatever your beliefs are, you heard Barack Obama saying the leaders of the green economy will be the leaders of the world economy. I believe he's right. Probably if you're sitting in this conference, you probably should believe he's right too. I mean, this is where we're headed. This is an industry that's being created that's going to change the rules of the way we are working right now. They're saying that the green tech revolution is similar to the industrial revolution. I mean, the way that things are made is going to change, and that's basically what we're seeing right now. And why is this happening? Well, because we have very important players doing things to change the way we are doing things right now. Who are these important players? Well, for one,
the three players in the perfect storm, and this, what it regards to green tech megatrend, is first of all government. There are state and federal incentives right now in place that are pushing a lot of money towards green technologies. There's also a lot of talk about new regulation coming, something like cap and trade or carbon tax, that it's going to force a lot of people into applying green technologies into their processes. So government is really pushing towards a green tech economy. Barack Obama said it again in State of the Union, that he plans to use the green economy to push the overall economy of the country. Industry, it's certainly doing its part. A lot of companies are marketing themselves as green tech companies or green companies. Some industries that are not even green are marketing themselves as green. There are also companies that are taking steps ahead of the curve and to make the decisions to become carbon neutral or to take large initiatives for green tech. Walmart certainly is doing a lot of things towards that route, and some of the companies are also preparing for upcoming regulations. Everybody knows that there's regulation coming regarding emissions, carbon emissions, and some companies are taking steps to get ahead of the curve. And last and certainly not least is public awareness. A lot of people now recognize that there needs to be action. There need to be action taken towards becoming greener. A lot of people are debating whereas climate change is true or false, and it doesn't matter on which side of that discussion you stand. It's a topic that it's current. People are talking about it, and that makes it an important issue. A lot of people feel that it's hip to be green as well, and this is a very important point, because back in the 80s, when the price of oil went up and a lot of green tech initiatives took off, there wasn't a lot of public awareness, and as soon as price of oil came down, all the initiatives went down with it. So that's the big difference with today's green tech megatrend, that the public is aware that regardless of where the prices of oil stand, we need to do something about the environment. We need to do something regarding our dependency on carbon fuels. We need to do something regarding our sources of water. We need to do something regarding our volume of waste.